There really is nothing like the buzz of live TV. Whether you're watching it or making it.
As soon as that red light goes on, it's game time. He's like, I want to go home now.
But when things go wrong live on telly, there's no take two.
Oh my God!
Calma,
oh my God!
calma!
Anything can happen.
If it messes up, get on with it.
Since the golden days of TV, calamities have unfolded live before our very eyes.
Anything could go wrong. It sort of attracts danger.
Say, I have no idea what's going on there, and don't try and ignore it.
And over the years, the cameras have captured some truly memorable moments. From technical shambles, heart-stopping accidents,
This is live. We have no idea how he is.
set malfunctions, bust-ups and brawls.
Then all hell breaks loose.
The whole nation was in double shock.
You have history happening in front of your eyes.
It looked like a night out in Newcastle. It was very exciting.
Animal attacks, calamitous cock-ups.
It's warts and all.
And unplanned audience participation.
Only seen a couple of people leave here.
Ωστόσο, όσοι απέμειναν...
So strap yourselves in and get ready for the rollercoaster ride of your life.
You've got to keep going. The show must go on.
Because this is when TV goes horribly wrong. Welcome to the show. There is one type of live TV where no one, not even those involved, have any idea what's going to happen next.
Sport is the pinnacle of live TV. The trouble the broadcasters got is that the event is happening without their control. They can't direct a football match.
They're always a thin veneer away from just total chaos.
And being a famous cycling superstar doesn't mean you're immune from suffering catastrophe in front of millions on live TV.
Cyclists in the world of sport, what I'm in, we just think they're absolutely mad.
The Tour de Suisse is an annual cycling race that consists of 9 competition stages across all parts of Switzerland. In 2010, hotly tipped British sprint cycling legend and Olympic silver medalist Mark Cavendish was competing in the sprint finish of stage 4 of the event.
Can't go too early as Lagutin goes on the left-hand side. Cavendish bounces out of here.
So we got Mark Cavendish in the Tour de Suisse, comes around the final bend. He thinks he's in the front. There's a chap in front of him. There's about 60 bikes right behind him.
Chilek's going to go for it.
It's a tie between these two.
Cavendish goes in the middle.
Mark Cavendish, from the Isle of Man, a brilliant cyclist.
Cavendish goes for the line.
He's got that sprinting technique that really all cyclists would desire to have.
Is he going to get this one? Oh, it's a massive crash on the finish line. Hausler goes down, Cavendish goes down, Pataki takes the win, but they're all over the road.
He comes crashing down onto the floor.
He leans on Hausler and Cavendish go absolutely flat out across the road.
Mark Cavendish takes himself out and virtually the rest of the field too.
It's like a cartoon. The 60 other bikes that are immediately behind them obviously are going to go arse over tit over them.
Both of them lent on each other at probably 40 or 50 miles an hour.
And it's just that this horrible concertina thing. It's just ridiculous. It's carnage.
Well, this is the rough and tumble of bike racing.
Just horrible. I mean, it's embarrassing for them because they actually care. And it looked painful.
Just look at the amount of skin Hausler's lost. That's very, very sore indeed.
Nutters.
That might be the end of his Tour de France. Let's hope not. The bike is in pieces.
Well, here's the thing about cycling, right? It's really boring to watch, but I do like the lycra of the men. Do I want to objectify them? Yes, I do.
The same event in 2008 provided one of live TV's most shocking cycling mishaps involving 5-time national road race champion Luxembourg's Frank Schleck.
Frank Schleck has worked so hard to get to the top of the mountain. Now it's time to cruise, you see, as you go down these winding roads down the Alps. If you visited the Alps, you know exactly what I mean when I say these roads are pretty windy.
And he comes around the bend up this mountain, slight incline, and I spotted him that they both start freewheeling.
En dit is een drama. Is een drama.
Poor old Frank's bombed straight over and he's down the ravine. And then we hear the commentator going,
Dit is een drama. Dit is een drama.
And I took that to mean something's gone wrong.
Millions of viewers around the world are watching to see if Frank is still alive.
Watching that particular moment when Frank hit the wall and, well, as he flies over the wall, it takes your breath away. This is live. We have no idea how he is. It looked frightening. I think everybody was holding their breath that he'd be okay.
But remarkably, just a few minutes later, Frank is seen climbing back over the railings to re-enter the race.
He's clambered back up and he's fighting to get back on his bike.
You see that he's absolutely fine, and you breathe that sigh of relief.
This is a guy that went off a mountain and lived. He didn't even have a parachute. I mean, well done.
Those cyclists are pretty hard, aren't they?
Okay, who likes motor racing?
It's a bizarre sport. It's cars going round very fast in pretty much a circle. For what benefit? It's just very, very odd.
All the risk, none of the destination. No thank you.
So, we're at the Navarra racetrack in Spain for the 2016 Porsche Carrera Cup.
If I could afford a Porsche, there is no way I would be racing it and risking getting one single scratch on my little baby.
All the drivers were going round that bend.
And with each car worth hundreds of thousands of pounds, these are expensive toys for those boys to be playing with.
And as they came round, one car turned, the other one ran up the top of the bonnet and balanced perfectly on top of the other.
Well, it's a freak accident, but it's almost genius. It's poetry.
It was like a ballet. It was just perfect.
If you did it 1,000 times, you'd never get that.
I love that.
The bloke in the car underneath gets out and starts running as if, oh my God, it's all going to catch fire. No, it isn't. That bloke's just parked his car on yours, you dillock.
He was a little bitch and ran off and left the other one to it. That was my favourite thing.
It's brilliant television. Anything can happen in sports.
But it was just like Porsche bunk beds, which we all wanted growing up, but we couldn't afford them, even though Michael and Daniel down the street had them because they were twins.
And now for the Greek news headlines from 2010, where a local reporter was live from a beach in Patras when a member of the public cocked up her broadcast live on air.
There seems to me a kind of inevitability to what happened here.
You know there are people there, probably been drinking all day, in very little clothing.
Ωστόσο, όσοι απέμειναν εδώ στην Πάτρα απολαμβάνουν τον ήλιο και τη θάλασσα.
Suddenly, a man walks into shot wearing, on his private area, a very long sock, longer than perhaps was required, not being rude.
And first of all, I would like to say that was a massive sock, and I would like to give you my number, so please get in touch with the channel.
Ωστόσο, όσοι απέμειναν εδώ στην Πάτρα απολαμβάνουν τον ήλιο και τη θάλασσα.
Where can the reporter go? She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know where to put her eyes. I think she did know where to put her eyes.
The lovely newsreader just cracks on.
Έβαγε και τα μαλλιά.
Yeah.
Όχι, τι κάνει.
Shall we say he's quite pleased with himself for doing this trick? So he's obviously getting some sexual pleasure out of it because the sock is certainly a little bit further extended than perhaps it was when he first put it on.
She says something quite calmly, given the circumstances, and he seems to accept whatever it is she's saying, and off he wanders again.
Take that away. We don't want to see that sock or you here.
Έβαγε και τα μαλλιά. Όχι, τι κάνει. Τι κάνει. Δεν το πιστεύω.
And instead of keeping your eye on your presenter, the camera decides to follow a naked butt.
Δεν το πιστεύω. Πάρε το φλαμί τηλέφωνο.
The cameraman is clearly rather obsessed with this man and follows him into the crowd.
And you see this jelly-like substance moving away from you. He needs to do more squats, by the way.
I don't know why we like to be naked on television, but somehow people find it mahoosively liberating.
Who are these people? Who are they? Where are they the rest of the time? Hiding in bushes?
But he's not done anything wrong, has he? I mean, possibly too much pubis. Can you say pubis? I think we can say pubis.
I say forget the sock next time. Then we can all have a laugh.
Current affairs programmes in Greece sometimes come with hazards on live TV.
What we have here is someone paying the price and how he paid the price for free speech. He'd had on, previous week, a neo-Nazi sympathiser. The people who invaded the studio, left-wing activists, didn't like that.
They pelt him with this paste, and the poor reporter takes the pasting, pardon the pun.
You don't storm a studio and pelt a TV presenter with eggs and yoghurt just because you don't agree with the guys on the previous week.
It is odd that he just stands there and just lets it happen and then doesn't leave the studio. He just gets further and further into the corner. I can only assume that the way the set was, that there was no exit.
Our Houses of Parliament are the meaning of the word dull. If you ever watch live in Parliament, you will nod off.
We all think Question Time in the House of Commons is a bit wacky from time to time and gets a bit out of hand from time to time, but it's an absolute vicar's tea party compared to the Ukrainian Parliament.
The Ukrainian Parliament is quite a lively place.
24-hour news channel RT was broadcasting the Ukraine Prime Minister's parliamentary speech in 2015. Live to, well, whoever was watching. An opposing MP approaches the leader, offering him flowers, and what happens next is staggering.
Then as the flowers are taken, he grabs the balls
and lifts him up in the air.
And then all hell breaks loose.
People have got up from their seats and they're going in with fists.
This big bundle starts happening. They're having a proper fist fight. And people are watching as if, Nyeh.
The camera just carries on. Now come out. Now see who else is joining in.
One knows that the Ukraine has had a very bad time, but I mean, this seems to me to be quite staggering.
It's bizarre.
The security guard seem to go, yeah, well, let them get on with it. They need a good fight. They'll feel better for it afterwards.
I love it. I mean, I'd recommend this heartily. I'd love to see a bit more of that in our Parliament, actually.
I think that would possibly clear the air with Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn.
Nothing I've seen in the House of Commons matches that.
Remarkable piece of television, I have to say.
Over to Italy now, where this TV studio was left empty live on air for explosive events of an altogether different kind.
One of the most interesting things about live daytime television is that you're on air for quite a long time, and actual life events can happen within that time.
Sometimes when you're broadcasting, the audience actually won't see or feel what you can see or feel.
It's just live breaking news and things happen there and you have to deal with it.
Proprio perché per poter verificare se non vi siano i presupposti per trattenere parte dell'indennità di accompagnamento.
Lo senti?
She's doing a live phone call to somebody at home.
It is difficult to fully appreciate an earthquake on television.
When there's a little bit of a tremor going on, the presenter panics.
As a viewer, you can't really tell what it is.
Lo senti? Aiuto. No, tantissimo.
This lady's freaking out.
The audience are scratching their head thinking, well, I can't see anything shaking.
Scusate, io esco perché ho paura. Scusate.
Everybody scarpers, leaves shot, and you're just left watching an empty studio.
Ciao ragazzi. È il terremoto, Gigi.
I would perhaps have said, I'm sorry, I think an earthquake's happening, I'm out of here.
I'd have been first through that door. I knew my athletic training would come in handy.
You can't try and stick to your auto cue and carry on. It's all right, it's an earthquake, but I'm going to carry on broadcasting. You've got to get somewhere safe.
Io ho paura e sta roba non ci crolla sulla testa.
It lacks drama. It lacks real drama, I think. As a pitch for a sort of major disaster movie, I think it wouldn't have seen the light of day.
I think I'd do exactly the same. Just get out of there.
Scusate.
No money in the world that could keep me. This is live television. I must stay and risk my life. No, it's only live telly. Just get out of there.
Over to Indian TV's 9 News now, where MP Poonam Madam is giving an exclusive interview in Jamnagar.
Here we have real news footage of a real situation. You couldn't have made it up, obviously. An MP in India.
And she's on the streets being filmed, and she goes by the wonderful name of Poonam Madam, which, when you subsequently see what happens, is a bit of a hint.
It's all going well. She's looking interested and caring, as MPs are supposed to do, and then suddenly, wham!
Like, she just went. She was there 1 minute, and then she was gone.
The street beneath her just collapses.
As she fell down a sewer.
Even though you know that it probably was bad for the person concerned, you can't help but laugh.
But had it happened in a pantomime, it would have been hilarious. It's as though she'd fallen through a trap door and disappeared. Absolutely horrendous. And this was on live TV in India. Amazing stuff. And of course, the television crew react as the television crew have to react.
This is live, so we keep filming. It's still news.
And she's dragged out unceremoniously.
The way we see her emerge is she basically washes up on shore, like Harold Bishop in Neighbours circa 1990.
And she comes up and she's blooded and everything. And you just think, oh, that is just awful.
It was actually quite cruel footage. It didn't take any prisoners. We saw the whole journey.
She's all cut up. She's covered in shit.
A sewer. How do you keep your dignity? Well, may I suggest it's impossible.
Poor old Poonam suffered a 4-inch gash to the head and injured her shoulder and legs. But it was definitely her pride that took the biggest fall.
You've got blood, you're being winched up by various people, everyone fussing over you, you're slugged into an ambulance. If you could think, how can I humiliate myself today? That would be the thing to do.
Live TV can go horribly wrong in so many ways. Throw animals into the mix and you're looking for trouble.
Well, the old idiom goes, never work with children or animals.
They could do a number of things that animals do.
Quite often, with regularity, somebody thinks it's a good idea to bring an animal capable of killing a human being onto a set.
Over to the good old US of A now, with ice hockey team the Bakersfield Condors, who were about to play a crucial match before die-hard supporters in the arena and live to tens of thousands of viewers at home.
So the Bakersfield Condors think, right, what can we do? Let's make a bit of an impression. Let's get a condor and bring him out, a live one, bring him out and put him on a perch in the middle of the ring. That sounds great. OK, all right, let's give it a go.
And they're massive, and they look evil.
Welcome back inside Rabo Make Arena. The Condors and the Wranglers meeting for the 7th time on the season. We're laughing, but we shouldn't be laughing. We shouldn't be.
Fights him up onto his gloved arm, and at all times holding his massive beak so it doesn't peck his eyes out.
This is Condors Town. I love it. I love it. Oh my God!
Of course, they're on ice. So this is all kicking off on really slippy ice.
The owner tries to go after him, pick him up on ice.
It moves like a turkey. Yes, it's a big bird. It has a swagger.
Of course, the handler slips arse over tit.
And the commentators are trying their hardest to keep it together.
Look at the Condors players are getting away from him. Look at them. Oh, there he goes up on the bench. I love it. Oh my God.
The condor flies into the dugout and it's, flapping around and causing mayhem in between all the players.
This is the greatest. Oh my gosh.
I thought these ice hockey players were supposed to be macho. Well, the true colours were shown, eh?
The bird's going down. He's down the tunnel. The bird's done. He's down the tunnel. He's going to the locker room. And that didn't exactly go as planned, but it's all good.
And eventually the bird sort of wanders off and disappears.
The owner was nowhere to be seen. He'd gone. Out for the count.
Nowhere is live TV more lively than on any of the dozen shopping channels available at the push of a button. And we're now going on a spree for the biggest and best live balls-ups.
Well, we're at a point now where television is generally very sophisticated. Everything's been planned, contingencies are in place, until you keep going up through the channels and you get to those shopping channels.
We were looking for £110.
Doing shopping TV, I used to have to do 3 hours live with no auto cue, support or help other than a producer in my ear who was probably 12 and had no idea. We shall move on to the printer next. Because I'm going to sneeze.
Here we are on a live TV shopping channel, and we have one of our favourite products. A bendy ladder that goes up and goes down and creates a platform.
I used to sell this ladder regularly. I got 7 left at this time. 7 left. I've got a phone line empty. If you want to come in and get yours, dial right now. I used to know this ladder as a sturdy beast, one of the safest ladders in all of DIY land. So we can go from that to that, and that's why it's so popular.
So he's got this ladder and he's really excited about it. He's obviously on commission, and he's set it up as a big sort of A-frame, or a big, like a table.
This is when I really wanted it. This is when I wanted for these bits here. Decorating, things like that. We just rest these on top.
And then it goes into a sort of scaffolding, a sort of platform where you can stand on like scaffolding but without paying for it. Sturdy bit of kit, Charlie.
It is.
Are you clicked in safe?
I'm locked in there. Again, not doing any tools, clicks and locks into place, OK? These are steel hinges.
Yeah.
Perfectly safe. And you can walk up.
So he decides then, for the first time ever, unrehearsed, I don't know why, to climb the platform.
Absolutely fine.
Is this some sort of circus act he's doing here?
And you will see, oh, there we go, that I feel...
Straight away, bosh!
Whee!
That, Charlie, is you popping through the hole.
And that is me popping through the hole.
You're about to feel safe.
If you think of Morecambe and Wise, the likes of Bernie Winters, if you think of Cannon and Ball, at this moment, Andy and Charlie are going to deliver you slapstick, comedy, shopping television gold.
Whee!
And here's a precious little gem from Gems TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and do like an introduction. I'll do the drum roll. No, I'll do the drum roll. You do the voiceover.
Presenting on live TV is like performing on a trapeze in a circus, but with no safety net.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Which hand should I use it?
That one.
Okay.
Do it, do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Emerald Showcase! Are you okay? Yes. Who put that big thing there? That's twice I fell over this. Are you sure you're all right? Thing? Yes, I'm going home to cry.
That's live TV, and that's a lack of rehearsal.
Browsing around the channels, we found these must-haves on Bid TV.
So this programme, Bid TV, no longer with us, hosted by Andy Hodgson, was a sort of rolling programme where you could just bid for things that you honestly thought you wanted, but really you had no need of.
People used to ring up on an automated phone line. You just press 1 if you wanted to buy something. This was our pick of the day that I was hoping to do. It's a 6 megapixel.
And with technical issues behind the scenes, it means the host has to fill whilst they try to fix the phone lines.
Unfortunately, I can't bring you this or any products for sale at the moment because we've got 1 or 2 problems with our usual bits and pieces that come up at the side here to enable us to actually sell them to you, so sorry about that.
Now, the whole show rests on people phoning in, and what happens?
Oh, dear God, you want to see what's going on? We'd often have 2 hours where there was nothing on TV but me. Yeah, just me. I mean, that was it, because the phones were broken. Whilst I can't make this available to you at a usual great price, let me tempt you with a few of the things that are on our website tomorrow night.
Shit. I've got to fill.
Come over here, in fact. Come on, let's have a butcher's over here. Go, wander this way.
Then he picks up a clipboard and he says, so while we're waiting, I'll tell you what's coming up over the next 10 days.
At 9 o'clock tomorrow night, I've got a Vivitar 10 megapixel camera.
Oh, I've got a 10 pixel camera coming in. You're going to love it.
Because it's got a 6 times optical zoom. Now, a lot of the cameras that we do have 3 times optical zoom.
But don't bid now because you won't get through because the phones aren't working.
Also tomorrow night, if you're into kitchens, sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Oh, I'm into kitchens, me. I love kitchens. Then I've got 2 knife sets.
But it basically runs out of things to say.
And also tomorrow night, something that might interest you, is I've got the 8-socket power centre with surge protection.
All of these things you might be able to buy if our phones are ever working again. To really keep them excited. It doesn't take much for viewers of the shopping channel.
Where's me Vivitar? Shoot your face, hurry up.
Unfortunately, this goes on a bit, almost an hour, but when you're live, it can really feel like a lifetime.
Kettles.
And all those hours filling live seem to leave some presenters' minds in the gutter.
Do 2 more, and then we'll refill. Okay, I'm just going to pop that in the oven.
You must understand, this is the most unique kind of television.
People take the mick out of shopping TV all the time, particularly those in the part of television that has respectability.
I just think it's so dynamic.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's poo, isn't it?
Well, it's not that bad.
You never know really what you're going to have to sell.
But some things are bonkers.
Have a look at these. These are amazing. Now, you've got a smaller one and a larger one.
Here, Sally Jacks is holding 2 innocent items.
And you're probably thinking, what on earth are...
She had these things called hot buns, and they're supposed to do... You put them in your hair, and they make your hair curly. They do look like a couple of dildos.
Somebody got a job lot clearance from Ann Summers or somewhere.
They do a marvellous job of your hair, so you're going to put your hair...
She just lost it, and she couldn't talk. She was crying with laughter.
You are, to be professional, meant to keep a straight face all the way through that.
I wonder if anyone bought any hot buns and if they bought them for the right reason.
When it comes to live shopping TV, there's one presenter in particular who whiles away his time on air in his own unique way.
Bid TV is one of the great joys of my life. As you take those, Pollyanna, it's of course James... It's Gianni Sabatini. It's coming up next.
Peter Simon, in his heyday, he did Live and Kickin', he did Double Dare, like he did these really well-respected TV shows.
We all remember Peter Simon from children's television. He's a firework. He's a ball of enthusiasm.
Do you like it moist?
Oh, where the knife goes through it and it'll pop a cherry and the smell of crusty brown.
So he's talking about products, but he hasn't lost the sparkle and the jazz hands and, darling, the razzmatazz.
But I've got some cooking DVDs to make your own fruitcake.
He's the Mozart of shopping channels.
Stop it now! Will you get off the bloody...
I think in all the time I knew him on Bid Up TV, and that was probably 10 years, I think I only actually saw him standing up for 3 months of that.
If you've worked with me, you'll know the best thing is just to let him get on with it.
I'll need a tissue now.
In this incident, he just blew too hard, and he was clearly holding things in, and holding things in, and holding things in, until he tried to breathe, and the whole thing just explodes out of his face.
He blew this massive snot bubble out of his nostril. Oh, it was really hideous.
The saliva of the mucus just dripped. And as it dripped, I was watching a career go by. And then I farted.
Sounds like you Can I move, please? I don't get paid enough for this.
Sorry about that, Jen.
You will be.
I've got problems.
65, 64, Diana Rose... It's the tablets.
Roger.
No, it's not that.
Roger.
I don't suppose it was all that pleasant. Because it's a small studio, it looks bigger than it is.
I don't know what the man eats, but clearly by her face, she was gagging. I mean, you could...
$39.99.
Stand there. Push it all back. I can't do it.
55. The wind's not going down.
Oh, Monica, I can't.
50. No, it's
I
not.
can't, Monica, I can't
51.
do it anymore. I can't. I mean, normally they're silent, but
40.
there's no escaping these ones.
40.
But see, the thing about men is that they secretly think all of these things are funny.
And we're now crossing over live to the Eurovision Song Contest, one of the BBC's highest rating annual events. And with a global audience of nearly 200 million tuning in, it's quite an arena in which to make a balls up.
It's the biggest television music programme in the world.
It's a massive, massive event.
The variables that come together to make Eurovision happen are just off the scale.
Because it's live, it's like a magnet. Anything could go wrong. It sort of attracts danger.
You've got the performers.
The presenter can go wrong, the crowd can go wrong. There's satellite feeds going willy-nilly.
You've got different languages.
Everything can go wrong, and personally speaking, the more that goes wrong, the more enjoyable it is.
Or when I sit there cringing and then at the same time have to watch it. I love it.
Being the first country to sing is unnerving enough, so when Spanish entrants Azucar Moreno took to the stage at the 1990 contest, it would have been helpful if the conductor and technical team were actually paying full attention. In your own time, boys. Hello?
You've got two sisters.
They're obviously getting ready for the routine where they start with their backs to each other. And then one of them turns round, seems to have some kind of row, and off they walked.
Well, it looked like they'd had some sort of sibling tiff. And the one with the big hair sort of strops off, and the one that looks like a reject from Robert Palmer's Addicted to Love video kind of follows her, going sort of like this. We're like, what are you doing? Maybe she'd borrowed her frock or, I don't know, used her deodorant. I don't know, something was going on there. the backing band carry on, they're ploughing through, ever the pros. We're not actually even sure what happened.
But what the viewers at home didn't know is that Azucar's backing track had been faded up too late and the girls didn't know where they were musically.
Fair play to them, they came back out and did the whole routine.
So it was time for another shot at the song, and thankfully this time the technicians managed to start the backing track at the right time.
Then they do the number properly and it's okay.
To be honest, if I'd have been them, when I walked off, I'd have probably just kept walking to the exit and thought, forget it, we haven't won. We can't win now.
But from a viewer's point of view, it's brilliant. Much better television than it all going smoothly. It's great fun when it goes wrong.
We're celebrating live TV's most jaw-dropping cock-ups. When TV first started, almost everything was broadcast completely live.
Most TV now is pre-recorded. Back in the day, there was less channels and almost everything was live. So you're talking audiences of 20 million people watching you.
Bob Crosby was a huge star of the 50s, and he had his own variety show. All singing, all dancing, where almost anything could go horribly wrong.
In the early days, a lot of things were live, and what I remember was a lot of doors slapping and walls wobbling in black and white.
Hello, hello, it's the Bob Crosby Show.
Thank you very much, and hello, and welcome to another Bob Crosby Show.
There was just such big extravaganzas then, and I just can't imagine it every day.
Tweedly, tweedly, tweedly dee. Say I'm as happy as can be.
Bob Crosby was a big name back in the day. He was an American television giant in show business.
You want to tell him who's next?
Well, I think that you mean our good friend, that square-shooting squire of the squeeze box, Dick Contino.
Dick Contino.
Bob Crosby's got this famous musician on playing the old squeeze box.
And then you see the strap starting to go.
The bloody thing broke. And of course at home people are thinking, well, thank God for that, because they hate the noise it's making.
You think, OK, what's going to happen here? I never thought I would be on the edge of my seat watching an accordion player.
He really thought on his feet then.
Without missing a beat, he's banging away on a piano in the corner of the studio.
You sink or swim, basically, on the basis of your performance. And many people say you're only as good as your last performance. So it's high pressure.
But it's live telly, so you have to get on with it.
I think he was so relieved that at least he got something to play. I'll just hang on here till this bloody thing breaks, you know, I'll just keep playing. And that's what he did.
Which of today's artists could do that? Could you imagine Chris Martin from Coldplay being so inventive? I don't think so.
Big audiences and going live meant the pressure was on for 50s comedy superstar Red Skelton, whose weekly sketch show aired on the CBS network to millions of American viewers.
Hello there! Good heavens, a talking cow! Balti, what did you say?
What we're watching is Red Skelton do live sketch comedy on television, which you don't really see anymore.
It's not that funny. It sort of might have been funny at the time. It's quite dated 50s humour, but there we are.
Red Skelton, big star. He had a very comical face. His face told everything.
Young man. Now take it easy, young man. I'm harmless. Oh, you're harmless? I'm glad to meet you. I'm Clem Cadilhoff. No.
You watch that sketch and it's a bit lackluster.
That's a night cow. Right.
A cow, in true Blue Peter tradition, takes a very large shit in the middle of the scene and makes it infinitely better.
Red Skelton must have been delighted with that. It elevated that sketch to a whole new level.
Wonderful cow. Not only does she give milk, but she gives Petridge pie.
Great comic, and his ad-libs were sensational.
I've always just done that since. I always have a cow with me when writing. I don't know what it does, it just helps.
Even the greatest names in variety couldn't escape the live TV mishap. Here's a vintage clip from 50s American TV heavyweights Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello, right? Comic geniuses.
They were vaudeville stars getting to grips with live TV.
Live television.
I take the bucket and I put it where? Under the cow's udder. The cow's udder what? Not udder. Put it under the cow's udder, something.
Great talents. You always got them mixed up, a bit like Ant and Dec.
Put it under the cow's udder, nothing. You just put it under the cow's udder. The cow's udder what?
They were great knockabout comics, but great wordsmiths, you know, great with dialogue.
Not udder what? You go to the source. What? You go right to the source. Who's talking about source? I want to hear.
Then Rhonda Fleming comes on.
Oh, yes, you'll put your arm around me like this, and then your other arm. And then you put your head on my shoulder. Oh, yes. Oh, and then you raise your face to mine. This is a face. And then you purse up your sweet little lips.
When they're doing this scene, they look at one another, something in the eyes, and they laugh. They may have had a kiss and a cuddle. They probably had a little flirtation, so that's why they probably laughed.
Now do you know what you do?
Zingo, I'm ready for night lunch.
It was a great corpse.
In the early days of TV, even the commercials were live, which led to many sticky moments.
Everything was live, like even a commercial.
Watch it, look out. Uh-oh, there it goes.
You know, it's hard to believe that commercials used to be shown live.
When you own this wonderful new Westinghouse refrigerator, it always keeps itself frost-free.
American commercials, wonderful. We've got a very nice woman in front of a fridge demonstrating its use.
I really feel for the presenter in this clip because she's doing a job for an advertiser. She's telling us, the viewers, about how great these fridge freezers are.
Yes. Somebody's playing games.
Only she can't get the door open.
Ordinarily, it's completely automatic. There's never anything that you have to do.
She's thinking, you can see it in the eyes, this can't happen to me.
And the secret is inside here.
And she pulls, and it pulls, and it pulls.
Yes.
And it doesn't open.
There's a little magic counter button up here. And every time you open and close the door, a small amount of frost enters by the warm, moist air.
So they instead zoom right in on her face.
And when the door has been opened and closed enough times, that is about 60 times.
You can you get a tantalising glimpse of the door rattling.
And then we see someone else jimmying the handle.
I wish there was another camera rolling. I would love to see what was happening just out of shot.
That is about 60 times. Well, the magic counter button sends a signal that starts the frost-free system to work.
But somebody there with a crowbar.
The door opens completely automatically. and it wipes every trace of frost away.
And then we pan back and you go, da-da, you see?
Ordinarily, you never have to touch this button here. Right, it does it. And the magic opener opens it for you.
In those days, we were probably more gullible and we'd have bought that fridge.